confidence, self-love, and seeing yourself through a whole new lens. Literally. Today, I'm sitting down with Lauren Schwab, a boudoir photographer based in Boulder, Colorado, but always willing to travel, who has made it her mission to help women feel fierce, unstoppable, and deeply connected to themselves through the power of boudoir photography. But Lauren's journey didn't start behind the camera. Growing up, she struggled with confidence and never quite felt like she fit in. All that changed when she experienced a boudoir shoot for herself, an experience that completely shifted the way she saw her body and helped her look in the mirror with kinder eyes. In this episode, we're diving into the power of boudoir photography, how it can help reclaim confidence, embrace self-love, and celebrate personal strength, and why seeing yourself through someone else's lens might be the game changer you never knew you needed. Whether you're on a journey to self-acceptance, confidence, or just looking for a little inspiration, this conversation is one you don't want to miss. Let's dive in. Welcome to Unleashing You. This podcast is your permission slip to create success your way. I'm your host, Amanda Riffey, a certified success coach and female business leader who has climbed her way up the corporate ladder. I've been through burnout and back and found the tools to bring fun and enjoyment to my career while creating powerful results and leading in a way that feels authentic to me. This show brings you conversations with women just like you who have created massive success for themselves and are doing it in their own way. We'll hear about their personal journeys of growing their career while still prioritizing the things they love most. If you are ready to be challenged and encouraged to reach your next level, then buckle up, sister, because the road to dreamy success begins here. Let's dive in. Lauren.
Hi.
Welcome to Unleashing You.
Thank you.
And we're doing this in person.
Which makes me so happy.
And this is your first podcast that you've ever been on.
It is. It's my first podcast, and I'm so excited.
I am honored. Honestly, I am honored to have you on. And when we already know each other, but we did like a prep beforehand. Your story needs to be out there. It needs to be told. So I'm so glad that you're coming on my podcast to do this. Okay, it's going to be so great. All right. So, Lauren, let's say somebody wasn't at Unleashing You Live, as they should have been, and they have not met you before. Tell us a little bit about your background, your story, your journey.
Yes, absolutely. So I am a boudoir photographer, and it is something I am so deeply passionate about because of how boudoir changed my own life. So basically, I'm in the business of helping women, specifically women. I also photograph couples as well, and we'll photograph anybody, but just helping people feel beautiful, empowered, confident, unstoppable, really. That's the word that I love to use, through images. And I did my first boudoir shoot 10 years ago, and it completely changed my life. And I didn't realize that that's the impact that it would have on me. And that's why I do what I do.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I want to come back to that first boudoir shoot that you did as well. But I think even to take a step further back in your story before that, I think it's important for people to know, number one, like right now, like you are all about empowering women, helping them feel really confident in their bodies. And you mentioned that boudoir shoot that you did changed things for you. Can you kind of take us back to like who was Lauren before boudoir? Like you had said to me before that like you have said like really hurtful things to yourself in the mirror, things like that. I feel like that's important to share.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like so many of us, I just did not grow up with any confidence. And going back to high school, middle school to even start, I was not kind to myself in the mirror. I never felt like I fit in. I never knew how to dress, or I never owned makeup, I don't think, until I was in college. I didn't know how to do my hair. I felt like I didn't fit into any groups. And I grew up in a really big town, really huge high school. And I always was trying to do things to fit in, even if it didn't feel right. So I joined sports teams because I thought I'd be cool doing that, but I didn't really like the sports teams I was on. I joined theater because I thought that would make me cool. I'll get in with those kids, but I hated being on stage and being in the spotlight. So I felt like I never fit in. And it was just a snowball of just me not having any confidence in myself. And that kept going later in my life as well. And I think so many of us struggle with confidence issues, and we look around and we see people that we think are so confident and we think we're the only ones, but we're not. I think we all struggle with that.
Yes. I mean, I know myself included, even still to this day, I have to catch myself when I'm looking in the mirror or I try on an outfit. And to your point, like we can say really hurtful things like, that doesn't look good on you. You can't pull that off. You're ugly. You weigh too much. You're fat. Like all of the things that we say to ourselves that we would never, ever say to anyone else.
Yes.
But we say it to ourselves.
Yes. We say it to ourselves, and the voice in our head is so hard to quiet that. Don't get me wrong. That doesn't change overnight, but you can start to rewire that.
Yeah.
And that is what my first boudoir shoot did for me, is it slowly started to change the way I saw myself, because I finally saw myself through somebody else's lens and saw myself in a different way that I hadn't seen myself before. And it started to rewire it for me. And it's been a journey that I've still been working on since, but that journey continues. Even with all of my clients' shoots today, I feel like I feel them through my first shoot, and it's such an amazing feeling.
Yeah. And I think you hit on a really important piece there around rewiring those things, because they are beliefs. Mm-hmm. And even though we might think it in the time that, oh, this is true, this is 100% fact, it's a limiting belief. And no matter where we picked it up from, it could be from a variety of things. Mm-hmm. It could be from society, a specific relationship, wherever it is that we picked it up, because we weren't born thinking that we were ugly.
Yes.
The thing about that, though, is that it can, if we chose to believe that at some point in time, we can choose again. Mm-hmm. And I think what's really important about what you said is that our subconscious will always go looking for the evidence that supports the beliefs we currently hold. Mm-hmm. So if you think, no one will ever love me, no one's ever, going to acknowledge me, or I'm not worth this, or this, that's all the evidence that you're going to see in your life. You're going to see all of those stories that support that current belief. Mm-hmm. And what I love about what you said is that you can rewire it by searching for evidence that disproves that. And I think that's what your first boudoir shoot did for you. So can you kind of walk us through that story and that point in your life?
Absolutely. So I was living in New York. I had just moved to a city I didn't want to move to. I took a job I didn't want to take. I didn't have any friends. I was living on Long Island, so far away from the city, in a town where nothing interesting was going on. No offense to Long Island. And I wasn't planning on doing this shoot, but I made a friend in my building, and she was going to do a shoot for her boyfriend, and she told me to come with her. So I went with her, and I ended up stumbling into doing a shoot myself. And I felt extremely uncomfortable because I just wasn't feeling good about myself in so many different aspects. Not just the way I looked, which was part of it, but I was just feeling low in my life. And I was super uncomfortable, as boudoir is very vulnerable. I didn't know how to pose. I was like, well, I'm awkward. What am I going to do with my hands? I can't make a sexy face. I just wasn't feeling good about myself. And the photographer made me feel comfortable and walked me through everything. And when I got those pictures back, Amanda, I couldn't stop looking at them. Like at work under my desk, I would look at them. I would look at them, cooking dinner in my home. I remember being on a work trip in Vancouver, And I was at dinner by myself because I was on a work trip, and I was sitting at the bar, and I started talking to the stranger next to me, and I was like, "Do you want to see my boudoir pictures?" Which was so inappropriate, since I didn't know her. She's like, "Who are you?" But I just wanted to scream it from the rooftop because I looked at those photos and I'm like, "Oh my God, I am sexy. Like, who is this girl? I am sexy." And it started to change for me a little bit of the way that I had been seeing myself for all those years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think with you continuing to look at those photos, you were finding evidence every single time
Yep.
you looked back at those photos, which makes sense then as to why you were like, I couldn't stop looking at them and I wanted to show everyone.
Yeah.
Because that with each piece of evidence, you were rewiring that belief and
Yes.
proving that belief wrong.
Yes. And when you have the evidence in your hand, it's really hard to disprove it because it's right there and you can see it. And I did my boudoir shoot just for me. And people do boudoir for so many different reasons. And I'm also a huge advocate of it being a great gift for another person. But the reason that I love what it did for me is I did boudoir for myself and only for myself. And then if somebody else got it as a little gift, that was a bonus. But I did it for me as a self-love. Well, in that moment, I didn't know that's what I was going to do. But I did it for me, and I did a boudoir shoot about 9 months ago, and I also did it just for me. And I think that is so powerful. It just makes you feel so fierce. And I truly believe that if that confidence starts to come back a little bit, it seeps into so many different aspects of your life. Like, I found that I felt more confident in my job. I felt more confident when I was going on dates because I knew my worth a little bit more. Like, I always I was dating on Long Island, and I just would go into dates being like, "Oh, he's not going to think I'm pretty enough or I'm good enough." And I would go into dates being like, "No, I am a badass. Like, I am sexy." I was showing up in different aspects of my life in different ways because of the confidence that shoot started to give me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is life changing. Like, honestly, that is life changing. I hope you're enjoying today's episode. I wanted to interrupt for a brief moment to let you know that I'm currently enrolling in one-on-one private coaching. If you are ready to go all in and see big results, this is for you. With my Transforming You option, we will spend 3 months together focused just on you. Working one-on-one in this capacity will skyrocket your growth beyond your wildest dreams. This is the deep inner work. We will dig into your goals, your dreams, the things that are holding you back, the things you didn't even know were holding you back. This is what will unlock that next level of you, whatever that might be. Maybe you want to step into that next promotion at work or grow your own business. Maybe you're longing for more balance between your career and your family. Or maybe you're unsure of what you're craving next and you want to find more clarity on your career and life direction. That's what we'll unpack together. No 2 sessions are alike. Plus, you'll have on-demand access to me throughout our entire time together. You will go through such a transformation as you step into the next era of you. This is the personal growth that takes years to accomplish on your own. So let's accelerate that and get you the results you're craving right now. Send me a message on Instagram or head to acrprofessionalcoaching.com to learn more. I'll also put the details in the show notes for you. Your road to dreamy success begins here. Now, back to the episode. So how did you go from having this one boudoir shoot to being a boudoir photographer?
Great question. It took me many years. I actually stayed in that corporate job for about a decade, and it did a lot of amazing things for my life. But about 3 years ago, it hit me like a ton of bricks, and I needed that. I was in Texas for a girlfriend's birthday, and we were out on a boat, and I was taking a picture of somebody with my phone, and the girl said, "You're such an amazing hype woman. You're making me feel so good about myself. You should be a boudoir photographer." And I was like, oh my God, how did I not see this until now? Because I was like, that's what the shoot did for me. I need to be this for other people and help other people come to this same realization and have that same aha moment that I had. So from that moment on, I was like, I know what I want to do spend the rest of my life doing. And it's just been amazing ever since.
Oh my gosh. And isn't it funny how somebody can say just one small thing that reflects something back to you that then sparks something so big? Because I have a similar story before I became a coach, and many of you know my story. I was in corporate for, at that time, like 16 years. And I went on a solo vacation just by myself, hence the word solo, solo vacation. And I came back and I was just sharing about it. And one of my friends was like, "Oh my gosh, like you're such an inspiration. Like I need you to be my life coach," like joking around. And something in there, like we were just joking back and forth, but there was like something that like sparked that idea. And I could like not even a month later was then when I had that like my whole revelation around like, okay, I want to do something on the side. What could that be? Went through, and was just searching the internet with the skills and the things I wanted to do, and then came across coaching, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this could just checks all the boxes. And then I went back to that conversation and I was like, literally somebody already said I should be their life coach. So I think I could be good at this.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's like crazy when somebody reflects that back to you and it just sparks. You never know what is going to spark that big idea.
No. And it's like something that you knew deep down, but it took that one moment to actually bring it to the surface and realize it. And you're like, oh my God, that's what it was this whole time.
Yes.
And I was feeling a certain way about approaching 40 and not having any idea what I wanted to do with my life, which I think is totally fine. I've lived so many different lives and I am proud of that and would never change that for anything. But I was like, how do I not know like what I am so deeply passionate about at this point in my life? And then I'm like, well, this is 100% what it is. And I am an incredibly indecisive person, probably one of the most indecisive people. And I have never felt so decisive about anything in my life. I was like, this is what I'm meant to do.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it so much. Okay. So if someone's listening and they're like, I guess we just assumed everyone knows what boudoir photography is. We didn't really explain it. We just kind of went right in.
Very true.
But like if somebody's thinking about this or you kind of sparked something in them, like what are their next steps?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I describe boudoir as an empowering form of photography that typically is on the more intimate side, but boudoir is whatever you want it to be that makes you feel like a badass. So I have clients that come in jeans and a baggy sweater, and they want to pull the sweater a little bit off their shoulder, or they are snuggled up holding a cup of coffee, but that to them is more like intimate and sexy. Then there's boudoir in lingerie, nude, implied nude. There's so many different forms of it, and it's whatever you feel comfortable with.
Ooh, yeah, you got me thinking. I'm like, what's my level? I like, even when you were just talking about like the one shoulder out or the cup of coffee, like that kind of stuff wouldn't have even come across my mind as boudoir photography. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the myths I like to debunk about boudoir is that it has to be in lingerie or nude, because if that's not what you're comfortable with, that's completely fine. I want to make you feel empowered and confident, and whatever that looks like for you. And I also have clients that show up and say, I'm going to stay in my jeans and a bra. And I say, great. And then by the end, they're like, I'm taking everything off. Totally. But one of the things that's really important to me is helping people feel comfortable. And I want to talk to people and get to know them and their story and about them. And I think, or at least I've gotten this feedback from my clients before, that I do really help them feel comfortable. And I think that's part of why there's kind of a transition within the shoot of, you need to warm up a little bit. We need to get to know each other. And then by the end, once they're kind of more comfortable with the process, when we've walked through it, they might be pushed a little bit out of their comfort zone of what they thought they might want to do.
Yes. Ooh, I like that so much. Okay. I know you've got big goals and big dreams for what's next. And, I love to talk about big dreams. So tell me what is next for you. What are you calling in?
Yes. So something that's really important to me is traveling and exploring. I don't know if you actually know this about me, but from 2020 to 2023, I actually lived out of Airbnbs for 3 years.
I did not know that.
Traveling around just 6 weeks at a time, different mountain towns in Colorado and then beyond. And exploration is just so important to me. It's something I'm so passionate about. And I want to take Boudoir to the road, and I want to take empowerment on the road. And I want to start incorporating more shoots while I travel. So I have a shoot in Philadelphia in a couple months. And I really want to start expanding that. So when I do my own personal traveling, I can be able to help women feel fierce within my path of traveling. And that's something I'm really excited about for this year and beyond.
Oh my gosh. That's okay. So you heard it here. If you don't live in Denver, you can still book Lauren. It can happen. Absolutely.
Yes.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Okay. Where can our listeners go to connect with you?
Yes. So the name of my business is High Heels Photography, but heels is spelled Heals because I think that boudoir is healing. At least that's what it did for me. So it's a little bit of a play on words, high heels, but healing. So my Instagram is at High Heels Photography. Same with my website, highheelsphotography.com. And I'm always posting on there kind of what's up next and where I'll be traveling to. And I just love chatting with people, even if you are curious about boudoir, but it seems a little intimidating or scary to you. I just love talking about it. I never push anybody to do a shoot if that's not what they're comfortable with. I just like talking about it because I am learning that so many people kind of have an idea of what boudoir is, but they just don't know what it could be.
Yeah.
And I love it's just something I'm so passionate about, even just talking about, even if you're not going to do a shoot with me, just send me a message and we'll just chat about it.
Yeah. I mean, she honestly means that.
Yeah.
You are just one of the easiest talk to, down to earth people.
Thank you.
That I think I've ever met. Like when you and I met, I feel like we just clicked instantly.
Yes, we did.
And, and then you had a pop up at Unleashing You Live, and now we're doing podcast. Like there's so many different things. So I 100% agree. Like even if you're just looking for a new friend, Lauren's your girl.
And I love talking about travel. I'm going to Europe this summer for my 40th birthday. And I am really starting to post more this year about how 40 used to seem so scary to me. And I used to think of 40 as being so old and scary. And now I'm like, no, it is not. I have never felt more fierce and unstoppable than I have approaching 40, 6 months from 40. And I love talking to people about just kind of the things that they've learned as they're approaching 40, because obviously a lot of my friends this year are also turning 40 as well. And just like the pieces of advice that you would give yourself looking back in just like, what would you tell your past self about confidence? Actually, what would you tell your past self about confidence?
What would I tell my past self about confidence? I think it would really come down to don't spend so much time worrying about what other people think of you. Mm-hmm. And I think that's even a reminder for my 40-year-old self too, because that's still a learning for me. Mm-hmm. But I think I know I spent so much wasted energy trying to just fit into everybody else's, version of perfection when that's just an unattainable goal. And most people don't even give a shit. Like
Right.
most people do not care. And I'm like bending over backwards trying to people please everyone.
Yes, I hear you.
Yeah.
I did that
How
for
about you?
so long as well. Yes. And they're just not your people. Then those aren't your
Yeah.
people.
Yes.
And I wish that I would have had kinder eyes for myself in the mirror so much earlier on and said kinder words to myself. Because like you said, half the people don't even care. More than half. Like we're so focused on what we're doing and ourselves. Nobody else is focusing on it that much. And I love talking to people about just kind of the lessons they've learned over time because it's such a beautiful reminder of why we're all so amazing. And yeah, it's a journey. And it's beautiful.
Yes, we are. Oh my gosh, Lauren, it has been such a pleasure
Thank you so
talking
much.
to you. You have spurred some ideas in me as well. I know that you have inspired people with your story.
You.
So thank you so much for being on.
I appreciate you having me on. I've been so excited about this. And like you said, when I met you, we just clicked right off the bat. And when you said you had a podcast, I was like, oh man, I'm going to make this happen.
Right? Oh, amazing. I am honored that this is your first podcast. I bet no one listening would have ever known. And I think that speaks to your ability to step into that next level and bring that confidence with you. Like you're just showing up as a woman who goes on all the podcasts and travels for all these shoots. You are attracting those opportunities in now because of the person that you've become.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You're great.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. If you'd like to continue this conversation, connect with me on Instagram and say hello. You can find me at AmandaRiffy_coaching. In the meantime, if you know you are ready to step into the next incredible version of you and want to completely accelerate your personal and professional growth, let's work together. I offer one-on-one private coaching as well as workshops and in-person events. There's really something for everyone. To learn more, visit my website at acrprofessionalcoaching.com or send me a DM on Instagram and start a conversation. And don't worry, I truly want all of us to succeed. So I promise I will never steer you wrong. Let's create a career and life you love. Chat with you again soon.